Hello everybody, Morilibus here. She's complete. Sort of. Not really. Mostly done. 100%. Not quite. But for the most part it's fully armored up. I said. That looks like a painting error. No, it was the wrong color. Perfect. Okay, so for the most part I like it. Certain angles it looks a little weird. Like it looks very boatish from up this from this height. Just very almost too square. It probably would look better if I indented it more, maybe. I'm not sure. These guys are interesting. I don't know if I like them, but they're to hide a couple more thrusters on the side, because it doesn't quite have as much forward thrust as I would probably like, but it was going to look silly if I tried to add too much. So it's got 3 rows of 5 there. It's got 2 more down there. Those are kind of just for show. A couple more there on either side. This might look better if it was all the way back. I might just push it so it's right here instead, and just have it connect up with the edge of that. I'm also not sure if I like this part like floating. That's kind of maybe neat from this angle. Little spoilers of sorts. Give it some landing gear. Hopefully we can use it and actually land on something. This is going to be where the connector access is. Oh wow. Low frame rate. We're too close to all the other ships. Missile launchers seem to be okay there. I mean, we'll probably hit ourselves if we're moving. We'll have to see. I tried to add in some spotlights in various locations, as well as some cameras. There's one camera in there. And let's see here. Ooh, let's get back in the ship. And can we just toggle through? Oh yeah, that's the one on the drone. This is also in the drone. I have no idea. This is the inside one. I put one inside the ship just so we could sort of see some of the inner workings. Yeah, there's a couple there. And Tortwing. Okay. So let's take a look inside the ship. So it's got 2 antennas on the side. One's kind of just for redundancy. Still needs a name. I did end up putting the antenna up here. I couldn't see a good place on the bottom to put it. I tried to calculate roughly for power, and we have way more power than we need. So I think I worked out that we'd have, at most, here I'll come out for a second. At most, we'd have 45 large thrusters on at any given time at dampening. So what I did was, if this ship is moving backwards at full speed, or any speed I guess, moving backwards and to the side and like down, that would probably use most of its thrusters. I think it has more on the top than it does the bottom. So I wanted to get these ones activated, basically, these ones, and then one of the sides. And that, I believe, totaled up to 45. And then I did 45 multiplied by 600, which is the dampening, I think, power they use when they're dampening. And I so I took all that, divided by, I guess, 600. What did I do? 45 times, I don't know what I did. I did something like that. 45 times 600 to get the total, and then I divided by 3.5, which is what these guys can provide. And I think it came out to like just under 8, or between 7 and 8 large reactors. This isn't that easy to see, but there's a line of cargo containers down the middle. And then there's 4 reactors there. There's 4 on the other side, and then there's 4 above. So we have a total of 12. And really, we only need 8 to at least power the thrusters. So I added some extra ones in there just for all the other doodads that I haven't calculated power requirements for. I had removed these oxygen things at one point, but I managed to put them back in right there. So these are 2. It's got 4 tanks, which should let it go for quite a while. And then at the back here, these guys are, there's 2 oxygen generators. And then a bunch of batteries. And I think I worked out that we'd need 19 batteries to have enough. To just run off batteries, that is. And I don't think we have that many. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'd need another 7 batteries, which might be able to fit in there. Might try to do that, because that would mean that we could run off of not even uranium. And I mean, that's huge. I mean, actually, what we got is probably good enough, right? Because that's only during dampening that we'd ever need that much power. So I think if the reactors could provide that, the batteries don't need to really be able to provide that if they don't need to. If it goes overload from dampening, that's probably okay. All right, what else? I gave it 2 cockpits. I managed to squeeze another one in there. I had to chop off this and push it over by 1 block. And then I had room, because this line used to line up with this, and now it doesn't, but it still looks okay in my opinion. So yeah, this is now a 2-seater, so if you have a friend, they can sit in here too. Did some work with the droid. We're just going to spend the first part of the episode in here, by the way, and then we'll move back into the world. But I got 3 timers set up, and I messed around with this. You can deploy it while it's moving right now. It took a little bit of fiddling, because the game likes to do some weird things when it unmerges and all that kind of stuff. But I have 1 button here that will deploy, so it unmerges. The thrusters are off, the dampeners are off, and it has 1 override thruster that just kind of launches it. And that just sends it up to clear it, and then all the other thrusters turn on. But I made it so the dampeners aren't on, because if you deploy it when you're moving, it will just launch itself backwards as soon as the thrusters turn on. So I figured this was better. You still have to kind of remote into it, and then you could turn on dampeners or come back down. Come back. Too close. Okay. Oh yeah, the next one. So that was deploy. This is build a new one. So that basically, I think it just turns the projector and the welder on, and it also does some countdown. So it should load up the thing with some uranium. It'll let the conveyor system pull some in for about a minute, and we might adjust that because we don't need much uranium in it. And then it'll turn that off, and it'll get it ready basically to deploy if it's not already done so. But I tried to get everything as close as I could in the blueprint, so that could be how we so the blueprint's ready to go. I don't need to change any settings. What I want to try to maybe do, someone mentioned like if we could give this guy some tools. If we could find room for a projector block, that looks pretty cool. If we could find room for a projector block, we could have this guy get his own tools like this. So once he's disconnected, he would have to project these extra pieces on, and that could be a welder or a grinder. And then we could just use the welder in the bay to deploy it or to add it on. And then if we do that, we'd have to try to find somewhere that we could hide like a grinder then. Somewhere on the ship, connected to our conveyor system. Not there, but you get the idea. Somewhere there that we could ungrind, or we could grind those off and then come back here. I don't think we could fit a grinder in there somewhere to do it all in one spot, but yeah, that could work. Alternatively, the suggestion was maybe if we could hide some tools, because I mean it has this merge block on it, so it could just merge and connect to things. So if we could have little tools somewhere that the droid comes to, maybe they're embedded they look like part of the ship until the droid takes them off or something. I'm not too sure. That might require a bit more work and fiddling. I think just adding on the welder and that would be probably easier. So we could find a place for a grinder, or a way to swap out this welder so that it changes out for a grinder or a welder, which would involve having a welder and a grinder below. That might be doable. That might be doable. Oh, I bet you I could. Bet you we could. Let's just take a peek inside here for a second. There's not much room though. Basically, we would need to have a grinder that's right up against this guy, and will only grind out this block, the welder block. And then on the other side, we could have a welder. Yeah, I'll fiddle with that. That might be worth pursuing, because then it could be all done from that one pad, maybe. And I'm pretty sure the grinder would only grind that center post if you tried to straddle it, maybe. All right. What else? Let's see here. So yeah, oxygen we should be good. And it's got some generators, so we could stop at some asteroids and collect some additional ice. But the tank should last quite a while, so we'll have to get oxygen going in the world. Yeah, I believe that is all for this. Only one thing is certain, that is, nothing is certain. If this statement is true, it is also false. Well, hello there. I guess that's where we left off. I believe you don't need your spotlights on. So I loaded up. No, they're not on. What? Yes, they are. What? Anyway. Oh, everybody's on. Oh, we did a photo shoot. That's what we did. We were doing photos. Everybody turn off your lights, okay? Turn off your lights. Good. Oh god. I forgot I did that. We might have to reload. Alright, so we got an update with the sun now moves. This is its quickest setting. Which is way too fast, as you can see. It looks pretty crazy though on the station. I think that's why I wanted to leave it, just to show you. But I imagine as a performance hit with the shadows constantly being updated. Getting sun where we don't normally have sun. I wonder if I turn it off or slow it down. I think that's what we're going to do. We'll just slow it down. That's awesome. It's like a time lapse without a time lapse. It's moving. Alright, I changed it to 4 hours. So that'll be pretty good. Then we might actually see it revolve most of the way, or halfway probably, by the average length of a recording of an episode. So that'll be good. Alright, so we have our new, I think it's basically like our exploration ship. I did some tests in a new world with no speed limit and got the thing up to, I think, about 6,000 meters per second. But it was not having a good day. It was shaking violently. Asteroids were not even rendering properly. And I think it was having problems clearing the memory. So the game eventually got to the point where my computer's like, you have no memory left. And I'm like, okay, experiment over. And yeah, that was that. But we won't be going that fast for exploration because things were flying by way, way too fast. Tortwing? Sorry. The other point of the test was oxygen. I wanted to see what exactly it took. I think with one oxygen generator was enough to keep the tanks full. And just running off the tanks, we were using like 0.0001% every like second. So I think we'll be good. We'll occasionally have to stop and probably fill up with ice maybe, but the 4 tanks should do us pretty good. Actually, before we get too crazy, I want to create a temporary, of course, everything's temporary here. I want to create like a battery storage area so we can just have a big bank of power stored up and we can use solars. So I want to get some solar panels going. This is a side thought though. I don't want to get too involved in this or get carried away. I want to try something with Tortwing here. So with the exploration ship, we need a way to build it. I would use the Xeno crane, but can't find a thing when I'm talking. I would use the Xeno crane, but I don't know if it's working. I'd have to put it back together for one. I don't feel like it. So yeah, I want to create stored power being provided by solar panels, which I don't have a part for. And then I also want to get some oxygen going passively right now until we can get fully into it. So we're probably going to set up some oxygen farms, probably a bunch of them, and some oxygen tanks. And then we'll enable oxygen basically once we've done that, and we can make do, and that'll encourage us to do something about it. Tortwing's already set up, so we can just use bottles. We'll hook it up to the conveyor lines so that we can make the bottles with the assembler, etc. You know what I'm doing? I'm trying to use my toolbar from building that ship. I got so used to where everything was that I'm like searching. Okay, merge block. Good. Let's see here. We're going to need some of that. We're going to need maybe that, maybe that. Conveyor tube, probably. And that. Alright. Someone recommended this a while back. Since we're still just using this guy who has 2 welders, and I haven't done anything with crown molar yet. Why is that? There you go. You look silly. You took some smashing, I see. Yeah, since we don't have a really big welding ship yet, crown molar I'm probably going to revamp a bit the way I want to do it. Involves rotors and pistons, and yeah, that's probably not going to work. Alright, so I want to try is give Tortwing an upgrade, but a modular upgrade. So if we want to do some heavy-duty welding, we could plug into an extra piece via merge and connector, and then we can, yeah, weld more projects. So it'll have maybe some arms, and we're just going to roughly plan it out right now with you today for the rest of the episode. So something like that, right? Oh no, that's not quite right. So it would have a merge here, like so, and not there. Oops, which page did I just put on? 6? Okay. So something like that. And then we either, I wasn't sure how wide this is. We have 2 options here. We can either disable Tortwing's thrusters while something is docked, or we just shape it so that it doesn't matter. But it looks like the gap is big enough that we don't actually need it. How should we do this though? All these silly conveyors. I kind of want it to have a connector out the back, so it'll be like a through and through, in which case I can't really do this because it only has 3 big doors. And I want to have a big door on this side going down, up, and out. So I think I need to use the conveyor block. Something like that. Because we don't need anything coming out. Oh yeah. What do you mean I'm not in creative mode? Excuse me. Okay, let's just grab a couple things. A few more. Good. So yeah, that's one option. We could shut off the thrusters if we need to. But let's hope we don't. And the other idea would be this thing would have a lot of storage. So maybe we'll give it actually 2 large cargoes. And I guess we just need a door out the top. Like something like that. And that can't go there, but it would. Okay, got it fixed up there. This guy's still holding on. I thought it had to be complete, or one half had to be complete and powered on before you could just latch onto it, but that seems to be holding. Unless this is just floating. And it's also hooked up here. So from here, like from a most simplistic point of view, we could just do this, and we could use either straight tubes, or we could add a bit more storage if we want, which I think we might actually. The goal of this is so this guy can stay out and weld a lot longer, so we don't have to fill up constantly every few moments if we're doing like a big weld with steel plates and stuff. Oh. Usually I have a grinder on the same page. Been working in creative mode too long. Keep expecting to be able to see the conveyors with the stuff already placed. So I think ideally we'll make it so the welders line up, which looks like, actually, Actually, that'll do. Give me my welder. Yoink. So something as simple as that, and there'd be another one on the bottom. There we go. Looks a little off on the bottom, but I think it's just the layout. Like, I don't think these guys are completely centered, are they? They should be, right, with the connector. They are all in line. Could be just an optical illusion, I think. Just the shape of the ship. It looks like there's a bigger gap down here than there is up here. And that's probably because of the top part comes up higher. Alright. I think that would work. Would probably make this thing its own, like, kind of sort of ship, I guess. Do I have any parts? We could give it like an antenna. We could give it a remote control block. Like, let's see, give it its own reactor, gyro, kind of stuff. So it's its own little self-sustained ship, but also maybe a projector, some thrusters. Probably not a cockpit, although we could maybe try to fit a cockpit. Probably put a camera to go with the other part, maybe some sensors, some timer blocks. We want to do some automation stuff, remote control. Probably some other things. Program block, perhaps. So we'd have to figure out how to put where to put all that too. But I think I'd probably play around in creative mode where I can sketch it out, trial by error. And yeah, see what works, see what does not. And if you guys have any input on something else we should add that I haven't discussed, or a different way of doing it, but that should work. It'll be far enough away, even with a bit of armor here. If we have just one layer of armor, those thrusters will not affect it. If we do make it wider, we'd have to add probably some thrusters onto this to compensate. Good. The one thing that I would like to change that I'm noticing, let's see if we can fix it. Let's do some tweaking here. Just going to try to fasten this stuff so it's holding. That'll hold on to the connector. That's holding on to the bottom. And let's do that. I don't know if all sides of a cargo. Yep, they are mount points. Okay, so that should be holding that. So let's get rid of the large cargoes and these. And actually just, well, yeah. Let's get rid of that too. I want to give it a bit more space between the connector and where it's all connecting. So let's actually get rid of those. And let's add instead 2 more. Lots of cargo. And we'll space that out by cargo. And then, oops, everything should be pretty much the same. And then we can just put everything back that I took out. So we've got to put the conveyor with the hatches like that. And then a big cargo. Okay. Sure. Like so. If only I had symmetry mode. Like that. I think that would be good. And we could even go a bit crazier if we wanted. Not like crazy. Because these are quite spaced apart. But it would be good for doing a large, like, flat area. But in terms of precision, let's see here. They're probably a little spaced out. So we could try to drop them down. Either with, like, let's see. Either with just like that, I suppose, but that looks kind of silly. That's probably coming down too low. Yeah, it's obstructive. If we did that, we'd have to probably raise it up first by like a little bit. Here, we'll fudge it here to simulate. If we did that, oh, I got rid of the bit I need. We could use these guys. So like if I want to move that up one block, which I probably want to move it up 2, I'll do 2 there. But really these would go over here on the bottom part of that to look better probably. Yeah, I don't think this will work. Or look good anyway. And then we come down. And then we go forward. And then we put the welder. So we went up to come down. Except now we want to, what, come down one more, I think? Is that what I wanted to do? Yeah, so that's a bit lower. Basically all that to bring it down one block. That's probably closer to where we want it to be. Maybe we could try to make that work. Bring it straight across, maybe get rid of the large cargoes and just use medium cargoes. And we could almost have it like one medium cargo per component, and then we'll have a program block that will just fill up the cargo with that component or something like that. I'm not sure if that would work out. We could probably do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's 10 right there, 11, easily 12, 13. I don't remember how many components we were using on a regular basis, but 13, what do we say here? A lot of them are like missiles. I think there was 3. So what did I say, 20? I think 20 different components that we'd typically use, or we'd ever use, excluding the weapons. And I said 13, so we'd have to add 7 more. But we probably could throw them in the back here, make it a bit wider, or have 2 rows of it. Another option, let's see, if 4 isn't enough, we could try to do more and maybe put a conveyor block here instead. Do that, and then either come out the side right away, or there could be another medium, I think, if I placed it correctly, but let's assume I did. And then we put a welder there and a welder there, and it basically ends up being, well, they're almost stacked. It'd be nice if we could have a welder here too, but the conveyor won't make that easy. So we could do that, and then we upgrade from 2 to 8. I don't know. What do you think, Tortwing? You're getting pretty huge. I don't like the zigzag up, obviously. This would not be happening. Ignore that. That's not what it would look like. So it'd basically be like this little sleeve that Tortwing would put itself into. And we could either have a docking area for that, because I don't think it'll fit into the repair bay. But if we had a permanent place for it, then we could maybe use the autopilot stuff to dock it. But that stuff seems to be pretty unreliable right now. Alright, well, maybe we shall end it here for now. And in the next episode, let me know what you guys would like to see, but maybe we could start doing that oxygen stuff. Get ready for that so we can enable it. We'll try to maybe hop over to the construct to maybe flesh this out a little bit better and use any ideas that you guys can contribute. And yeah. And then we'll be getting ready for planets, basically. When planets get here, I want to load up a new world with planets in it, and somehow all of our stuff is going to magically appear there. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Including Grav Dart and the asteroid down there, hopefully, if all goes well. And then we can set off, or hopefully we can get our new exploration ship built soon. So we'll have to get Tortwing done. Once Tortwing's done, we can build our new lobster exploration ship, which needs a name. If you follow me on Twitter, I've been showing some photos of that ship too. If you want a bit more detailed overlook of it that maybe you didn't get to see in the video here, because I kind of quickly went over a lot of it, but there's some shots of most angles. So if you follow me on my Twitters, you can find that. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm heading, gameplay-wise. Get more welders, build new ship, go explore if planets are here, etc., etc. Okay. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.